Hello, welcome back. Second part of the Lumo Director's Commentary. So this was actually the second room that I built. The first room was the spawn-in room that you see at the very start of the game. Which is a little musical thing, you have to hit them in the right order at the right time, play the right notes. Get a duck. And this is my little homage to Cadaver. The little red hand should give it away. Cadaver was by the Bitmap brothers on the Amiga and the ST. Good game actually, got a lot of love for that. So you notice some of the crates have got ACG Limited on it. I think if I get it right, it's Aston Computer Graphics Limited, who later became Ultimate Play the Game, who then became Rare. So Ultimate started really the whole isometric thing with Night Law and those games on the Spectrum. So it's a little bit of a nod and a wink to those guys. So there's a bit of a trick you can do with the ducks. You don't have to time the jump like pressing the jump button to land on them. If you jump up into the air and then hold the jump button as you fall down, you'll automatically bounce off the ducks, which is a bit handy. The same trick works for the bubbles as well. And this is the donut room. In Head Over Heels, the ammo for the gun that Head had was a box of 6 donuts. So someone on the Retro Gamer forum actually asked if I was putting one in. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name, but it's my little donut room. It's got a big floppy hat that'll help us float about. So yeah, if I jump up now and hold the button down, I'll bounce off of the duck. Now you can bank the duck, so you don't have to sort of risk doing that and dying. The little cry when the character dies was originally the death rattle from Space Harrier, the arcade game, the old save game. And I had that in the game for a while, but obviously can't use that. So I did a really bad impersonation of it and sped it up. So it's literally me dying every time you mess up with the game. So we can't get across there yet. So yeah, we're still on this kind of one button thing. So a lot of the things you interact with in the game, you'll just automatically lock onto, so you're having to do anything. I quite like these balls, but they're in for actually one of the mini games, which is kind of like Spin Dizzy or Marble Madness. So it's a little bit of training, so you can use the ball in the mini game. I've seen loads of approaches for people doing this room. A lot of people float up and try and get onto the shelf. The easiest way is probably just to use the jump box. That's a bit of a max jump. I don't do that very often actually in the game, but it is there a couple of times, so you need a sort of safe practice. The fans are a bit Zelda-ish, aren't they? That's probably where I think. So this is my dodgy soap on a rope. I say any bad joke can normally get in this game. So now we drop the soap. The bubbles will come out and we can get across. Not forget the duck while we're here. This room's caused no end of grief. Every single time I've updated the Unity version, this room's broke in some new and exciting way. little bit of backtracking to go back to where the bubbles are. The bubbles are really, well, fairly obviously they're my love of bubble. And I was originally going to have like kind of a room that was sort of set up like a bubble level, with like just the bubbles being like evil, and they would kill you. But when they had collision on, I noticed you could jump off them, and I was like, ah, that's perfect. That's literally the same thing as bubble. So I don't have to, like I say, you don't have to press jump there. You can just hold jump down, and you'll just automatically bounce. It's the same for the ducks, so that makes that stuff a little bit easier. This room was originally a lot more evil. The timing was really close, so you could literally sort of do it in one run, but some people got so horribly stuck on that. This is the musical thing again, so you've just got to hit these in the right order within the time limit to unlock the door, and you're through. Grab the duck. This one in the corner is a little bit evil because it's not actually in the corner. This one's a bit fiddly. There's a bit of a knack to that. Difficulty a little bit with these fellas. Oh, there we go. So yeah, the way I've kind of imagined this is if this sort of castle that you're playing through was, you know, actually a sort of a real place, and with one exception, I think you could pretty much physically build this out of Lego. The rooms all make kind of logical sense. I did notice one mistake though when I was drawing the map, which is in the church section, so apologies for that. Like I say, in this bit, the shells normally are a clue that you can find a secret. This one's a bit fiddly. Let's get there. Ooh, just skimmed it. You can actually get onto the bubble to get out, but going diagonally is a little bit easier. First teleporter, so this should be reminiscent for anyone that's kind of played Head Over Heels, and same with everything because there's no action button, you know, just jump to activate. And now we're into a new section. So this is really kind of for me where the game proper starts. You notice there's a gradual kind of increase in complexity for stuff that you see that follows through all the way through the game. But this is the first sort of bit where, you know, you've got some choices to make, and you know, you can go in different directions. I'll show you this secret as well while I'm here because it's a bit obtuse. But if it looks like you can jump out of a room in Lumo, you probably can, and you'll notice the rooms reset as you go in and out. That's on purpose. That again, that's to be close to the originals, but it's also, you know, if you mess something up, you can just go in and out, and you can start it again. So even with the arrow and the light here, quite a few people have missed that there's a lever in this room. And that'll unlock the path, so we can use the top of the rooms to get back here and get out of this little section. So I kind of imagine this zone as being like a mine. It's more about like machinery and rusty metal the ambient sort of background stuff's people sort of digging and tools and things. So just allows to do a little bit more complex kind of mechanics. This is the Boeing gun, you might recognise the ball. There's an achievement here for getting a bullseye, so the way I do it is to line up with the grill on the door, and then there's a little picture of Jeff Minter as a reward because he likes his balls. You can mess up the timing with this one by standing underneath the lift, but if you just go on the lift first time and go across, then all the platforms and everything will be lined up for you. You can get across. Max jump, seen a few people fail at this and fall, just means you have to go back. Sorry. Watch those, because obviously never trust a game designer. Particularly those ones. So originally, if you got on here, or you got back to this room, originally you had to kind of jump off of here to get onto there. And if you missed, you'd have to go all the way back to the start. But I'm not that evil. That was particularly evil, actually. So I put a lift in, so you can get back out. That's from the trailer video, so everyone should know that one's there. Little bit of a Donkey Kong type vibe. Whoa. So there's a little highlight there to say kind of what's interactive. I stopped doing that pretty early on in the game because I'm hoping people have sort of worked it out that you just need to jump on things. And so this little bit was mainly one of my friends was expecting the game to be a bit more Metroidvania, and you'd, you know, go backwards and forwards through the same rooms a few more times. And the build that they had right at the start was incredibly linear. In fact, it was mainly the rooms that I had for the green light video. The logical order came a little bit later, actually. I always kind of knew that I wanted 4 zones, and I wanted the zones to sort of be themed and have their own mechanics. So, you know, this is kind of, I think of as like the basement. Lots of boxes, lots of storage and stuff, and then there's the mine, which is a little bit more about machinery and a few more physics related type things. And then there's the church, which we'll get to probably in another video. And then the main zone, which I originally thought of was going to be like living quarters, and it did have a lot of furniture and carpets and stuff in, but it didn't really look right, and it didn't fit with the type of mechanics that I was putting into the room, so I kind of stripped it out, and it looks more like just a castle. So this one's a bit tricky. You want to try and go diagonal, and then oh, there we go. And again, if it looks like you can get out of the rooms, then you probably can. Now the doors for the secrets, this one's a bit of a red herring. They're normally in the middle of the walls, there's only a couple of exceptions. The secret doors would be where normal doors actually are, that you can see, so it's a bit of a clue. And because the rooms, you know, are physically laid out to make sense, there won't be a secret, you know, where there's an actual room that you can get into. This one confuses people. Had a lot of people miss this one. I thought it was one of the more obvious ones. Quite like this hamster wheel type sort of stuff, it's good fun. This lift is probably too slow. I don't know why I kept it this slow. At least you can admire the wall textures as we're going up. So I'm sort of pseudo speed running this because I'm not poking around in any of the corners and stuff. I'm just going to go the proper route through. So this one's pretty simple, just need to get the balls into the holes. Those little egg cups. So much grief. The balls kept falling through them and doing all sorts. Physics is fun. Okay, that's the big ball loose. And we've unblocked our way forward. So I had to soften this room. One of my friends was complaining bitterly that this was way too hard. So originally these little conveyor belts were sort of alternate directions. So you kind of had to hop about. And it was a little bit too difficult, but I just used it later on in the game. Pistons. Oh. Awesome, that's the flooded room section done. So this is another one of those things I just woke up and made me laugh. I went through and was watching the Indiana Jones films, so I was just like, ooh, yeah, got to put this in. Particularly because I've got a big floppy hat, so I get to do the little homage to Indiana Jones there. So we've got a big magnet on a ball here, which is good fun. I did have a few other ideas for things to do with this, but I never actually went back to it. I quite like the guide the collectible thing through. So this is the next pickup. This is a Multiphase 2. It was produced by Romantic Robot in the UK, and I had one plugged into the back of my Amstrad CPC, and it was great because you could basically pause any software that was running on it, and you could put in, you know, little hacks for infinite lives or cheats, whatever you wanted really. And just on the off chance, I tried to track down the company that made it, and they still exist. And they gave me permission to use it in the game, which was fantastic because I loved this. I used to poke around in memory all the time, and didn't really know what I was doing. I hadn't learned the program. I was like 11 or 12, but this was great fun. So we're slowly going to build something up which will let us get back to the real world. So we've got two of the pieces. We'll head back into our flooded room bit again. Oh, this one's bugger. There we go. Back into the mine. So this is the bit where I use the really tricky conveyors, because you don't need the map, you don't need the duck, so it's a bit more complicated. It's funny actually that it's incredibly easy to make really difficult rooms. I had to spend quite a lot of time trying to work out where the balance of things that only I could do was versus what everyone else could do. So these are the first. This is the first coin. There's a bunch of these coins dotted around the world, and you're going to use them to access the mini games. And the reason there's kitchens here is basically because of Rock Paper Shotgun. They wrote a piece about things that games should have, and they should always have a kitchen and they should always have a bathroom. So we've got a kitchen with a little biscuit rotor. Rick Dangerous got some biscuits. Notch obviously bought most of them because he can afford them. And Rockford and Monty Mole have had some biscuits in. And if you're going to have a toilet, then you've got to have a toilet that flushes. So mine obviously flushes. Can't quite see it in this video, but someone might recognise that mug when they play the final game. That's the hardest duck in the game for me by miles. But I'll show you this little secret first. This little cassette here. Nearly. The trick I found is to kind of go diagonally up. We'll normally get it. So the shadows on the ground here will just show you where to line these up. You just need to get them in the middle. And the timing on these is really soft now. It used to be a lot tighter, but you can pretty much make it there and back again before they, yeah, with loads of time to spare before they reset. Got our key. There's another little secret for you. And we're going to enter the mine in a minute. So a little bit of a Manic Miner reference there. We have to get the wheel for the minecart, so the wheel's up there. All we need to do is just hop around. I quite like this stuff, I do this a lot. As the secrets are obviously about getting out the rooms as the next coin. But I like, it feels like you're sort of breaking what the original games did. I have a secret in here, I'll grab that. Because obviously in the original 8-bit games you couldn't really hop around on the roof of the rooms, or you know, they weren't set up quite this way, so I really like this section. There's a little 80s Monty Mole. I probably shouldn't make a joke at the expense of the miners, but it was more about because Monty Mole was a miner originally, so it's just a bit of a throwback to that. Used to be coal, not dull, obviously. If you're in the UK in the 80s, you'll know that. So we've got the wheel, put that back on the mowing cart. Open the route, now we can hop in. So a lot of people think that this was from Donkey Kong, but it wasn't. As I said, I watched the Indiana Jones films, and as soon as I saw the little minecart bit, I think it's Temple of Doom, I was just like, oh yeah, it's got to go in. And yeah, I was obviously aware that it had been used in Donkey Kong. I think it's used in a few other things as well. I like he puts his little hands up as if it's a roller coaster when he's going down the hill. Makes me chuckle. There's nothing too complicated about this. Coins should just show you the path that you want to go on anyway. Should give a big shout out to Dope Demand for the soundtrack on Lumo. It's done an absolutely fantastic job with this stuff. It's mainly ambient versions we use in the background of the game, but for the mini games and stuff like this, it's nice to have the up-tempo stuff. And sticking with the roller coaster vibe, the camera goes off and takes a little photo as you get near the end. Probably should have put an option in so you had to buy it. But as the pages for the book never really got finished, that stuff was left. So that's the minecart section done. And there's our photo. Whee! And that's the mine. We'll come back to that later, but for now we're kind of done in there. And this is our church. So I'll wrap this one up here and then we'll start on the next section next week.